potential exit outcomes of the first two items, and for C, to see exactly what happens after the first two periods in time. There'll be grades that would be reported after that. And in addition to, in addition to that, in light of our cabinet dealing with the situation that they just dealt with, I believe that September 5th would give us more time to prepare and to have a more productive time with those topics.
Mrs. Fisher?
I second.
Okay, so I'm going to keep these items because I've been.
There's a motion and we have to vote.
Made a motion, she seconded.
I gave a
Okay.
second.
She did second.
Okay.
She did.
She did
Anyone in
second it.
favor?
Aye.
Nay?
Aye.
Okay. So, okay. Okay, so it did pass, so,
No. They're just not going to be talked about.
okay. Let me write this down.
President Paperman, I'd like to explain my vote, please.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. I just think that in light of the tragedy the district has suffered today, it's not fair to try to keep everybody here for an undetermined amount of cabinet members that are trying to deal with disseminating information to the appropriate individuals. And I think we need to be respectful of that. I understand that the topics need to be discussed and that they're important to the community and to the staff and to board members. But at some point in time, we also need to be human and compassionate. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll.
Ms.
yeah,
Paperman,
sure.
I also would like to explain why I voted no to that. I do understand that our cabinet needs a moment of grace. However, it has taken 6 to 8 months to get these items on the agenda to be talked about. And I don't believe they'll be brought back again. Honestly, they'll just keep getting pushed off by the board of 3. So that's my reason for voting no.
So I would like to let the community members, staff, and parents, I know they were looking forward for some of these items to be discussed today. So we do have 3 board that voted that this is going to go for a study session. But I'll make sure that these topics will be, I will make sure that these topics will be addressed. So,
I'm opposed to them being on a study session.
okay, so is it a study session that you call out, or?
September 5th, I think we have a study session scheduled, and that would,
September 5th?
That's not a regular.
you know, I'm speaking. It would be really polite if you'd let me speak. On September 5th, there's a study session that's already, we have it in place. When you discuss topics starting at 7, those 3 topics, we won't be tired and we'll be able to think clearly. And within that time frame, the third one, which is the, I guess it was called standard-based grading, but we do district grading. We have from May until then to see the transition back. And we would have more data to actually see what we're doing, and we can use that as benchmark, and then use that data for when we actually, stop shaking your head, when we actually are done with the grading period. The first 2 are white out. I mean, you look at it and there's not really any points that we're going to talk about. So instead of just having a free-for-all, perhaps we would be able to have some kind of a structure to that. So the questions, the answers, the outcomes would be much easier to discuss when we know what we're talking about. That's why I like the
Well-
study session instead of having it in a board meeting where we do board business and we have a meeting till 11.
Ms. Paperman, if you recall, it repeatedly has been tried to put on a meeting, and the superintendent has expressed he does not want it in a meeting.
That's
And
incorrect.
you expressed it at agenda review.
The board president and superintendent are supposed to work together on the agenda.
And at agenda review, you wanted it on a study session. We asked that it be in a meeting.
We actually decided as a board that we would move our topics to study sessions. We added 4 more meetings this year for that objective.
That is not.
That's correct.
If
You can go back to the
and
minutes
listen,
and listen to it if you'd like.
it's for the long reports that keep everything not discussed.
Point of order, President Paperman, the vote's been had to move us till September 5th. Discussion
Okay,
is
so
pointless.
I do have a question with, especially item C, because I know Mrs. Orway, you know, she's waiting to see what's going to happen with the grade book or the students, you know, like what the outcome is going to be. We've been waiting this for a long, long time. This has been a process for a long time, so I truly believe at least item C should not be put in a study session. It should be put into
what-
a
I would like
discussion.
to also,
I think Mrs.
I would like
Simichek's
to
trying to
explain-
speak.
Yes.
I would like to explain my vote as well, especially in regards to item C. If we allow some time for our teachers to start off their new year and get going with the grading system in place, it also allows them to have a couple of meaningful grades inputted into power schools. It will give us a very strong understanding of how the grading system is working. So without any of this information, if we just start talking about it today, to me it just seems kind of like a pointless thing to move on to or to have as a discussion, because we will be learning as we get this more information going. And I'd like an opportunity to just meet with Dr. Galligan too and see how she is viewing the process going with the new grading system as the weeks go on with the new school year.
So I understand what you're saying, but this is like beating a dead horse. This has been going on since Mrs. Orway was on the board dealing with this grading system. So I just want to make sure the communities, staff, and parents know that I'm going to make sure there's going to be accountability over this grading. Since it was already voted for a study session, we'll do the study session, but I'm going to keep fighting to make sure that the process is being followed and what the board votes is also being followed.
Mrs. Paperman, I
Okay,
think.
so we're going to
Mrs.
continue.
Paperman?
We're going to continue. We're going to continue to item 2, call to the public. Mrs. Fisher, can you please read the admonishment?
We have one comment, Donna Gutowski. If you could step to the microphone. The board invites public comments on district business in general and any agenda item specific. All speakers must observe rules of decorum. Speakers must fill out a card listing name, address, topic, and hand it to the board secretary prior to the president calling the meeting in order. Speakers must make their comments in no more than 3 minutes. If necessary to accommodate all speakers within 30 minutes overall limit, the board president may shorten each speaker's time. Constructive criticism is in order. Rudeness, vulgarity, disruptive conduct, remarks disrespecting personal dignity are not in order and will not be allowed. Under the Arizona meeting law, the governing board cannot discuss or act on any items not listed on the agenda. Board members may respond to criticism made by a speaker, ask staff to review matters, or ask that the matter be put on a future agenda.
Sorry about that. My name is Donna Gutowski, and I have several items I'd like to go over. I'll try to speak really fast. The first one is the proposed Arizona School Boards Association political agenda. And it reads, in their own words, the core beliefs are the responsibility for student success is shared by students, parents, governing board, district staff, and the community. There's a lot of red things that they added in here. Thank you for adding it onto the agenda as an attachment. It says, under section 2, preserve and strengthen local control. I have a problem with the vocabulary used. It's One is ensure local control and flexibility in managing funds and programs. Third is allowed school districts full flexibility in the divestiture of use of taxpayer-funded assets, which is pretty open-ended, full flexibility. 5 is to maintain exclusive local authority over any measure that would propose to consolidate and/or unify any number of school districts into a larger district. For me, that's about the money. If we have condensed districts, we have less administration cost. A lot of the money goes to administration, less money goes to the students. Number 8, oppose. I love these words. Full flexibility, exclusive authority, oppose any legislation that intends to lessen or curtail the legal authority of locally elected school boards, including their authority to approve curriculum. Everyone forgets it's the taxpayers who are providing the funding. We should have a say in the curriculum. 7, provide funding for new space before existing schools exceed their maximum capacity and become overcrowded. I don't think we have to worry about that because the charter schools are zooming in growth. This is in big, bold red letters. Oppose legislative efforts to ban educational materials that provide an inclusive and historically accurate, well-rounded education. When did we ever not do that? 3, under improve outcomes for all students, I do agree. Fully restore CTE/CTED eligibility. That we definitely need. 7, again, in big bold letters, red, oppose regulations, policies, and restrictions that overburden.
Feel free to email the board. That would be fine. Yep. Thanks for
Okay,
sharing.
thank you. We're going to move on to, we're done with the public speaking? Okay, we're going to move on to item number 3, consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve consent agenda?
Oh, Ms. Hartley's not running the meeting? Sorry. I move that the board approve consent agendas, items 3A through 3O.
All those in
Second.
favor?
I seconded that.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All that opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Sheila's not showing. Oh.
It just hadn't popped up yet.
We're going to go to action item 4A. Approve professional travel for superintendent to attend the School Superintendents Association National Conference on Education, San Diego, California, February 15, 17, 2024. May I have a motion for this item?
I move that the board decline this item.
Are you amending the motion?
Motions need to be made in a positive fashion.
I'm not amending, I'm making the motion. There's no motion made. No, you have what you would like me to motion, it has not been motioned.
Mr. Carver is correct.
I move that the board approve professional travel for Superintendent Finch to attend the School Superintendent National Conference on Education, California, February 15th through 17th, 2024.
Second.
Dr. Finch, is there anything that you need to say to the public what this meeting is all about?
Sure. The National Superintendent's Conference is all the superintendents from around the country come to one location sharing expertise and liberating ideas from each other and sharing. It's the most visited national conference for superintendents.
And how does this help the district?
This is where we get a lot of good ideas up from districts that are similar to our size. I've been going, this is my 25th year being a superintendent, and I've been to every single one. And it's a great conference for learning, for sure.
President Paperman, can I explain my vote, please?
Sure.
I chewed on this for a little while because I know we have constant conversations about professional development travel and whether or not it's a good use of our funds compared to some of the things that need to get done in the district. And I realized that for as often as we're attending ASBA conferences to try to educate board members on things that are going on in the world and what we need to be aware of, it's likely no different for the superintendent to be able to attend this, as this is opportunity to meet with like-minded people just like ASBA is. So if we want to address the ASBA issue, then I could probably take a different stance, but at this point, I'd have to support Superintendent Finch going to the training.
Dr. Finch, in your contract, do we give you a set number of conferences that you can go to?
Correct. This is a part of my contract.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'd like to explain my vote as well. He does have a budget in his contract for attending conferences and whatnot, and no, it's nothing like ASBA. The expectation, one, is that he has a doctorate, for one. For two, he's paid $250,000 to know these things on anyways, whereas board members are generally laymen, so they're not the same. But the reason I'm opposed to this is because of the content and the things that have been brought back have not been positive for the district. And so it's concerning. I would much rather we provide even a more expensive local, professional development where he gets a better grasp of maybe some of the issues that we're facing within the district. That's the reason for my opposition. It's not that I don't want him to have training. That is true. We need that. But I just think it has to be meaningful and purposeful for the district versus just personal meet up with my other superintendents.
That's
which is
totally
also done
disrespectful and
locally.
inappropriate, Ms. Fisher, to question my integrity and my character.
That's not your integrity.
That's a slam on me.
It's not.
Do you have
integrity.
any evidence of anything that I brought back to this district that hasn't been effective and produced positive results for this
We
district?
could start
I
listing
need
a lot
just
of the problems.
one. I don't need 100. I just need one.
Mrs.
Some of
Paperman?
the SEL that was brought forward.
Some of that SEL was brought by you.
Mrs. Paperman?
Stuff we're talking
Okay,
about.
That's what I'm
so,
talking about.
Mrs. Paperman?
yes.
Dr. Finch, when you come back from the conference, could you please make sure that there's a PowerPoint to show us what you learned and what you shared with your other superintendents across the country? Thank you.
Okay, and Dr. Finch, the reason I asked what this conference is going to be doing with for the district, from my perspective, I've been dealing with challenges that I've been hearing from teachers, administrators, and parents. And I do believe, as an educator, yes, we should be attending trainings. We should, build our knowledge, and provide that knowledge, within our, the schools and district. But to me, I don't see this happening within the Deer Valley School District for the reason that a lot of community members have stated many different things that needs to work on, and teachers and even administrators. So I'm not going to vote for this. So all those in favor say aye. All those
Aye.
that oppose say nay.
Aye.
Moving on to item B, approve employee professional development out of state. Mrs. Fisher, can I get a motion?
I move that the board approve, let me see their exact wording, the out-of-state travel for professional development per governing board policy GCZE.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. All that oppose say nay.
Aye.
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 Next item, C, approve addenda pre-approval. Mrs. Fisher, can I get a motion for this?
I move that the governing board approve, sorry, it's down on the executive summary. The governing board accept the administration's recommendation to pre-approval of addenda as presented.
Second.
Mr. Miglorino, there's any presentation for this? Okay, all those in favor say aye, all
Aye.
those opposed say nay.
Again,
Aye.
I'd like to express my reason is that there are funds on here that are on the burden is on students to raise the funds to pay for them. And I know there's no way the students have had club meetings already to seek to approve them. And so I cannot, in good conscience, put the burden on students. Any other fund I could. So my vote is no.
Mrs. Paperman?
Yes.
Dr. Finch, would you be able to have whoever is in charge of that verify how the students' funds are voted on by the students? And if
Correct,
they're
and-
not, that's fine, but I'd like to see that. Thank
Yep.
you.
Heather Mock was our resident expert that explained it to Ms. Fisher over and over. But we can have Mr. Miglorino maybe include something in the Friday update. Since she no longer works here, that would be fine.
I want to be very clear. No, Heather was, and they did say that yes, we could. But part of it is that we do not coerce them to make a decision. If we're pre-approving it before their club has even raised a dollar, then we are committing them to that. So if you talk to the Auditor General, yes, we can. We can do it. We can approve it. However, they do put the caveat that our students are not to be coerced to raise funds.
Correct. They are not
So,
coerced. It's student choice.
If we're approving a future expenditure on their account,
And
then
they don't approve
we're-
it, then we are on the hook for it.
then
You are
we're
correct.
putting it on them.
So anyway, Mr. Miglorino, if you could give us the process, how the students do vote on that, and if there's any evidence of coercion, we'd like to see that too.
I'll send you all how it works.
President Paperman.
Yes.
Just with some of the things that are going on today, I just feel the need to chime in once in a while here. In that, I guess my question to any board member that would think that these expenses are out of line or that weren't taken care of by the students that were associated with positions that are being asked for, is when this agenda went out and the information was available, were those clubs contacted before this meeting in order to establish that there was some sort of coercion, or are we just throwing wild accusations out there for entertainment purposes? So I would encourage everybody to do their due diligence before we eat up time of the community and the board with what ifs. It's a good point that Mrs. Fisher brings up, but without some sort of substantiated fact in the background, I would just plead everybody to please do your due diligence before we come up in front
We'll
of everybody.
happily post and send the process, the message from the Auditor General for the community and for all board members. I never come without supporting documentation. And
Do you have any evidence of coercion? That's what he's interested in.
if it hasn't occurred yet, then somebody's going to have to tell them they have to vote on it.
Correct.
That
We
in
are on
its
the
own
district.
is
We, as the
coercion.
district, are held liable for that if they choose something else. That is
Only
correct.
if it goes, only if it's reported. And we know that that's still not always done. So
I'm interested in the coercion. I can't wait to see that one.
Okay, we're going to move on. Just would like to remind the parents, teachers, community members, item 6, discussion, A, district staffing, which was requested by parents. Or is it?
you skipped one, you missed.
Oh, I did. Oh, item 5, sorry. So we're in preview now. Item 5, so we have A, proposed Arizona Board Association 2024 2024 political agenda. I believe that we will be sending one of our boards, Mr. Carver, for this.
I think Mrs. Simichek's the delegate, and you're the alternate, and
He's
she's
the
the alternate. Okay.
Okay, and when is this going to be? This? Okay.
Submitted their information, ASBA came back with it. Now you will discuss this for action at the next meeting.
Okay, September 9, okay. Okay, so Mr. Carver, he'll be going to that meeting. Okay. So item 6, I know I had a lot of individuals, community member emailing, and so I just want to let you know, we had 3 board members that voted for this to be in a study session. I believe
Mrs.
this is
Paperman
going to
going-
be for September 5th. And I'm just going to say why they are. That was going to be on September 5th is item A, district staffing. B, human resources termination process. C, Deer Valley grading practice 2023-2024 school year.
Mrs. Paperman, could we go back to number 5 so we can give some direction? I mean, for our vote on,
We've already voted for this.
No, we
right?
vote on it at the next meeting.
Oh, the next
Right,
meeting.
so
But
Okay.
if they want to discuss it,
I don't want to discuss it. I just
Okay,
want
so
everyone to
that's
know
fine.
if they have any questions.
Do you have any
Interest,
questions,
I'm not
Mr.
finished
Carver?
speaking, that they should probably email them, so by the time we get to the next meeting, we can give clear direction to Mr. Carver.
Mr.
That's
Carver,
all.
what do you have to say? Do you have any
Correct,
questions?
yes. I was
Okay.
just curious if the administration had any presentation with this item. Do they? Okay. Other than that, I would put the request out to staff and community to go through this proposal. And please email me with any specific concerns citing the number so that I can review that, because I want to make sure I'm making the best representation possible of Deer Valley School District when we're there voting on the political agenda. Thank you, Mrs. Paperman.
Okay, so number 7, we're almost done. It's 7:32. Reports, superintendent report.
Thank you, President Paperman. I just want to hit again that the rally to start the school year was a success. Put all 4,200 folks in the Grand Canyon University Stadium. I guess arena is a better word. It was great to get everyone together. We do it about every 4 years, and a chance for us to focus on really why we're here. The purpose of the rally was about purpose. And so students were showcased, staff, it was a great time. So, and most of the board members were able to made it to the event, so I'm sure they have some thoughts about it as well. Boy, the second thing is that's the start of school. It's exciting to get rolling and talk to the principals. I've been to almost all the schools already, and all the administration said that they've had a good start thanks to staff and teachers and admin working together to solve problems. Obviously, at the start of school, you're going to have that. So from a staffing perspective, we are doing really well, better than usual this time of year. So we still have some hot spots, but we are liberating, as Ms. Overboy would say, staff members from other districts, our neighbors, as many of our neighbors are struggling at the moment. And I think probably our Forbes Award 2 years in a row, being America's best mid-sized employer from 500 to 5,000. That is probably drawing some attention as well. So excellent news on the staffing front. We still have some issues we need to fix, but in general, in good shape. Enrollment, we're getting early numbers on enrollment. Looks like we're good there as well. So that's exciting. And just wanted to say thanks to all the staff members to get us off to a great start this year. Thank you.
Now we're moving on to item B, governing board report. Mrs. Fisher, do you want to call the board?
yeah, whatever, it's up to you.
Where's I don't have a paper. Oh, Stephanie. Okay, here's the paper. Okay, so Stephanie.
Okay. I wanted to extend a warm welcome back to our amazing teachers, students, and staff. I'm very excited as well for the upcoming school year. We did have an amazing rally before the students returned to class, and it was a great opportunity for DVUSD staff to connect with one another, or reconnect for that matter. I heard a lot of positive feedback from the event. I also just wanted to say thank you. I know most teachers also hosted back to school or meet the teacher night that same week. So I really want each of our teachers to know how much we appreciate you and all of your hard work. It does not go unnoticed. There is a survey for attendees to complete, which I believe everyone has probably received by now. And I think it's going to be really helpful in organizing another event in the next 4 to 5 years from now. So thank you, Dr. Gideon and district staff, for all of your hard work on that. I am looking forward to attending our Sports Media Day on Saturday. We'll also be celebrating our Goldwater Giving Closet grand opening or reopening on August 24th. I have a prior commitment to that, but I'm trying to figure out a way that I can be there because I really want to be a part of this wonderful project that has been so wonderful to our community. And then just real briefly before I go, I wanted to take a minute and let the community know that there's been some posts on social media lately that have encouraged and even promoted the DVUSD school board to provide their opinions and policies on board actions. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I would like to make it very clear that I don't think that this is an appropriate platform, social media, to be used as a way to provide information, and especially when most of the time it's not fact. It creates a false sense of board opinion. When one board member goes on and makes general statements, it makes it appear that the entire board is saying that or coming from that opinion, which is not the case. And we always welcome our community comments and feedback at all board meetings. So that's a wonderful opportunity for our community to come in and be a part of the meetings that we have, rather than taking to social media to write comments that not everybody is on social media and can respond to. So the best place to share your opinions and questions and concerns would be to attend board meetings and speak during that time. And then in addition, all board, we email us. We can provide you with the correct answer of the person or the professional person who can actually answer that question for you. So our staff is highly trained to answer those questions or those concerns and provide solutions to those problems. So I want to encourage people to not use social media as an outlet and to either attend, like I said, a meeting and speak up, or feel free to email, and we'll make sure that even if a board member cannot answer that question, that is directed to a person who can help you. Thank you.
Okay, next, Mrs. Orway.
I would like to say that the rally, even though it did take time out, I think it's nice that we forced ourselves to take that pause. The opportunity was incredible to meet some of the people that you've never met but have helped you through a lot of situations. It's also nice for the different regions to realize that even though we're in a different region, we're all doing the same work. We have the same challenges, and hopefully we put our heads together for solutions. What was shown was what continuous improvement means, how much hard work is actually good work. It showed where we need to beef up what we're doing for our students and our staff. Overall, I have heard, the only thing that negative that I heard, and it's always the time factor, is that if we had a 24-hour day, then we'd ask for a 6-hour day. So that pause, I think, is even for the people that wanted to set up their classrooms. There was grumbling on the way there, and then there were smiles, and yeah, I'm glad I did this on the way back. Not for everyone, but for some. I had the opportunity so far to visit Northern Transportation Center, so bus drivers and all those that make sure the buses are going. I will say that I hope our bond passes, because these tiger striped buses, Mr. Miglierino, even though it's not by our design, are getting a little old looking. Not sure if that matters, but the Tiger Stripe front is incredible. Sunset Ridge, Desert Mountain, Vista Peak, Constitution, and Paseo Hills. The pulse of those schools were that even though it's crazy, because it's the beginning and this was Friday of last week, it's a normal crazy, and people are so happy to get back to normal crazy, if that makes any sense to anyone. I don't know if it does, but it does to me because we've just had crazy for the last few years. It's also time to fill the closets with shoes, clothing that's needed. I would think by the end of next week, our nurses, counselors, and staff will have a good, healthy list of those students that perhaps would like to have shoes that don't have cardboard in them to save their feet from the pavement. Also, the food pantries are going to need to be replenished and restocked because school has just started. Many of our children that come to school are back in their safe place. So we like to make sure that we can provide not only learning opportunities, academic, but we want to teach them that sharing what you have and sometimes what you don't have is a good thing. Staff, students, parents, community, welcome to our wild ride of 23-24. I am assured that it's going to be a great year. No matter what our hardships are, we'll move through them. And I think we have I'm looking at Gary, 3, 4, 5 weeks till Friday night melt under the lights starts.
August 25th.
Ooh. Will you guarantee a 20-degree drop in temperature by then, perhaps?
Yes.
Everyone heard that. I didn't ask for rain, just the drop in temperature.
72 degrees, I believe.
Wow. And I want snow on my birthday. So on that note, I'm done. Thank you.
Paul?
Thank you, President Paperman. Arizona Rattlers, I want to give a shout out to them. They helped us finish up the shoe drive that Mrs. Simchek and I spring. They contributed roughly another 100 pairs of shoes, so that made the grand total 350 pairs of shoes that we're able to put back in our school closets. So thank you to the Arizona Rattlers. Last week, I met with Dr. Galligan to get a firsthand introduction into the training materials and Power Schools application concerning traditional grading at DVUSD. As with any introduction of change, there are concerns, and to that point, I felt it necessary to have a valid knowledge of the processes in place, and I should see for myself from the source how this roadmap is being implemented. So if there are concerns or questions, I believe at this point I'm the only person from the board that's actually sat down and saw Power Schools and how it gets manipulated and how the information gets presented. So please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll do the best I can to relay the information. There's been a lot of backhanded comments made about what a board member should be doing. It is true that some of the purposes of a board member is to set policy, hire and evaluate the superintendent, establish the vision and goals of the district, set standards of performance for schools and superintendents, ensure that the district is responsive to the values, beliefs, and priorities of the community, among other responsibilities. If I were to stick to this list and not engage the community and identify areas of improvement needed, then some of the things that may or may not have happened in the 7 months since I've been on the school board would include, but not be limited to, organizing the community to assist one of our schools with stocking and setting up their STEAM classroom, assist our school closets in acquiring an adequate stock level of shoes to assist those in need, help to develop open lines of communication between Mayor Beck from the city of Peoria and Dr. Z in order to help acquire some additional SRO officers for our Peoria schools. Additionally, I take my role on the board seriously. I research issues and I try to understand the why. I listen to all stakeholders and I apply what I have heard and learned to the topic to find mutual ground that benefits the children and hopefully help each side understand the concerns of the others in the process. Are these things my job? According to some, no. Am I capable of identifying need and opportunity and willing to help fill that? Yes. I don't mention these things to build myself up, but rather to point out the work that can be done by anyone that is interested in being. Anyone can point out an issue. I challenge my fellow board members and community to do more than just identify what's wrong, but to be part of the solution. I'd like to end my board update today with a quote from C.R. Gibson. I've wept in the night for the shortness of sight, that to someone's need I was blind, but I never have yet had an ounce of regret for being a little too kind. Thank you for your time.
Mrs. Fisher?
All righty. I do want to welcome everybody back. I I'm glad we had a rally, and I do appreciate those who put the efforts in to put it together. I know there is a lot of work to putting these, so I just am sharing this because it's what the feedback was to me. Teachers wanted to know what the cost was. They wanted to know the content. They didn't feel that the content applied to them on the campus. Um, I'm trying to just look at their comments while telling you. So those are their concerns. Mostly it was the content and it was the cost. All I told them was I don't know what the cost was. It was not shared with the board, so I don't know. They can ask the district. Or if the district wants to put it for them, they can put that out. I will say that there were parts of the rally that I thought were really, really good, especially the young gentleman who just wowed everybody with his piano. And for those of us who kind of hung around afterwards, we have some seriously awesome drums in our district. They kind of had a drum off. They played together, challenged each other. It was really, really cool. I just think if anybody gets an opportunity to go see our performing arts in general, our bands, our drums, take the opportunity because our kids are just doing some really awesome things. I hope the district does have a future rally. This is what I told even the ones that were concerned about the cost. But I do hope that the content becomes more about rallying the troops and less about information about the head. I always loved, that was the one thing that I loved at Phoenix Union. Our rallies, our superintendent was introduced, our cabinet was introduced, our board members were introduced. The entire rest of the program was about our schools. They rallied against each other, who was going to do this, who was going to do that. And some of our schools were very different. So I really just hope that that's the kind of encouragement that we try to strive to bring in the future. In regards to the social media post, I honestly felt that Jenny's post was very specific and very accurate to what she believed occurred on the board. And it was very reflective of what the board claims to have done at the meeting. So Jenny, I thank you for posting that. And I hope our teachers and our community reads it, and I hope they appreciate it. Since I don't know whether or not the topic will ever come through again, I really want to address an individual sent me records of an individual who was allowed to resign in lieu of termination. I was very concerned that that individual also had a record of noted abuse and transfer afterwards. So I really think we need to take a look in setting a standard that if you abuse a child at any level, you're gone. I don't think there's a second chance from abusing a child ever. And so that is part of the discussion that I assume we probably won't really have, but there's hope. I do want to let Mr. Carver know, I just put this note here. Teachers have shown some board members the ins and outs of the grading system, and we do really appreciate those teachers that are brave enough to do that, to show us the ins and outs and what it looks like and the impact that it has on them, because they're the ones that have to do it. They're not giving us pretty presentations, they're giving us what they're going through. And I just want to end on a final note. We should all be looking for solutions. This is true. Solutions cannot be found if a problem is denied or hidden. And so I really hope that we all actually do look for solutions. And then the other great stuff is advocacy is fun to do in addition to addressing real issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Fisher. I would like to welcome the staff, teachers, students to the 2023-2024 school year. I would like to answer the social media information. I truly believe that, yes, the board, we do not only work together with the administrations, with the teachers, with the parents, but it's also our job to make sure there is accountability. So if you're not seeing things that are not being done, then you know what? You need to make the leadership accountable. Also, I truly believe in the majority. So if I hear the majority saying the same thing over and over again, then something is wrong. Something needs to be changed. And of course, I'm going to go to the leadership because they are responsible to make sure that we are following policies, that we're making sure we're supporting our students, we're supporting our teachers, and we're supporting our parents. I also would like to say with a study session for September 5th, I would love to see the Parent Association, the Teacher Association, DV8, if they can do a survey, especially on the grading practice. Since I've been having a large majority of parents and teachers that have concern, I will send an email to the Teacher Association. If any parent association contact me so I can get the results of the survey, because I truly believe in transparency. I also believe in data. So this is going to help also to show the public, to show the district where the majority is within our district, how do they feel about this grading system. And teachers, do not give up. I've been a teacher for 21 years. I understand how it feels when you have a leadership that they don't listen to your voice and that you have to put your head down and tell you what to do and not voice your concerns. Don't be afraid. I'm going to advocate, and I'm sure there'll be other board members, hopefully when we look at any data, that they will advocate for you. Thank you. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Future meetings are posted.
Okay, future meetings are posted. May I have a motion?
So moved.
All those in,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye. You did it before 8? Good job.